this border war. Fans called it Moonshine Throwdown. I think that's the best rivalry name, an unofficial name, but the best rivalry name I've come across.
Yeah, unofficial that should become official soon enough.
Embrace it.
5 receivers at Duncan's disposal. Duncan stepping up. Hit! Ball is loose!
Big call here.
Marshall thinks they have it. And the Horde do!
Here's the kickoff from Amaretto Curry to the Hilltoppers, and we are underway. And a fake reverse on the kick return. And here comes Townsend down the left sideline. What a way to start it for Western Kentucky on the road. And it is an opening touchdown return. And just like that, the Hilltoppers strike first.
Justin Rohrwasser to try to win it for Marshall from 53 yards out. It's got the leg. It is good! And the perfect season continues for Justin Rohrwasser.
Goes for 2. Going for the win. Western Kentucky going for the victory. Rolling to his right. Quick strike. And they did it! Western Kentucky has ended the perfect season into the hands of Willie McNeil. A shocker here in West Virginia. And it is over for Marshall. They end the regular season 11-1.
Welcome back to the Moonshine Throwdown podcast. It's going to be a full crew tonight, hopefully. Steven's running a little bit behind 4th of July weekend, as to be expected. We've got some family obligations that we tend to get tied up with during the holidays, and Steven is no exception to that. So hopefully he gets to join the stream a little bit later on. But I do have Trace with me, and yeah, I know what you're thinking. Normally, this time of year, we would be starting our series of position group breakdowns. We're going to be talking about the Herd and the Hilltoppers and who's coming back and who's fresh to the team and how they stack up in Conference USA and all that good stuff. And yeah, you're right. That's going to be coming real soon. But tonight, we've got an episode unlike any we've ever done. We've got probably one of the most special guests that we've been honored to have on the show. And I'll be honest, I've been looking forward to this since I just tossed the idea toward this man a couple of days ago, and now we're able to make it happen just a few short days later. We've got with us tonight Jaquan Yulee. Yeah, everybody perk up a little bit. I know you're going to be excited to hear what the man has to say because, let's face it, it's just been a really, really unique journey for this guy. From high school through recruitment, it landed at Marshall, what all happened at Marshall, and now what 2021 and beyond will hold for him. We're going to touch on a little bit of all that. But the best part about it is he gets to say it in his own words. Okay. There's no news stories. There's no speculation. We're going to get to hear it straight from the man himself, which I can only imagine has got to be a really welcomed change of pace versus a lot of what's been out there over the years. But one thing we can say for certain is there are a handful of players over the past few years that I have just been instant fan favorites. For one reason or another with Herd fans. And I would be hard pressed to put anybody above Jaquan Yulee. He was like instant fan favorite. I mean, everywhere you go, all the kids wanting the pictures, everybody's waving high. They just loved Jaquan Yulee. And we're going to hopefully get a little bit of indication of why. We know the personality is kind of charismatic. We know the play spoke for itself. So we're going to get into a little bit of all that. So Trace, welcome in first of all. We got Jaquan here. Take the reins for a second. Give me a little bit of something as we lead into this episode, and then we're going to get cracking with Jaquan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I'm really excited for this one. I mean, especially hearing it, like you said, and I was very vocal on, social media and stuff, and even being at games, I just don't think that this man played enough at Marshall. Did not get enough reps. I've been very vocal on that. I thought, he was not just a complete stud. Could have been like a, total game changer. Was a total game changer at Marshall, and I would have liked to have seen him get more first-team reps more often. I think, he's just – and I'm not just saying that because he's on here. I'm saying that because I truly believe that from the start. And that's something I'd really like to hear more about. And, just like you said, fan favorite, did a lot of just some awesome stuff for the community and Marshall and everything. So I'm really excited to hear what he got to say.
Yeah, me too. I think if you go back and listen to old episodes, that's not just one of your favorite word traits. That's not hyperbole just because Jaquan's on the show. You go back and listen to old episodes. That's a running theme that we would always talk about. We need to see Jaquan Yulee on the field. He's just there.
Yeah.
How do you not find a spot for the guy because all he did was make plays, and now we have him here and we get to talk about that. So Jaquan, welcome to the show. We are incredibly honored to have you here. We're looking forward to what the next segments bring us, and we're really delighted that we're the guys that get to offer you this platform to kind of get some things off your chest, just speak your truth, whatever the term is you want to say. We're glad we're here to let you do that. So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a real honor. We're not just shooting the breeze here when we say a lot of the things that we've said and will continue to say. We were among the most excited people because we had this podcast, because we have a social media aspect of what we do. When we heard about, wow, Jaquan Yulee's coming to Marshall, this is going to be a real impact player. And, we saw what happened and kind of what didn't happen over the course of your career at Marshall. A lot of exciting plays were made, but we always knew that there was just so many more that were right there to be made. And, whether it was depth chart issues, whether it was injuries, whether it was whatever it was, we just didn't get to see enough of what we wanted to see. But before we get to Marshall, look, we can't just skip straight to the herd, right? I mean, we can't. You were in the unique situation. You played at Indian River High School, right? Chesapeake, Virginia. And you got to play alongside some of your best buddies, right? That went on to play at levels that you played. And then ultimately, even if it was just for a brief moment in time, you were reunited with one man in particular that represented the Kelly Green really well. So we want to go back to Indian River a little bit and let's talk about Indian River. I know those, 757. That's Jake all the time. Jaquan Yulee 757, right? You're not going to put one past me. Okay. Right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that area. Let's talk about what it means, what football means, what the local athletes mean, and what it means for you individually to come out of an area like that and continue to represent. So take me back to Indian River High School. What you guys were doing, what set you apart, and what made your group of guys and your linebackers in particular so special?
About to say, taking it back to then, like I said, my first year when I got there, I transferred to Indian River my junior year of high school. And first, like I said, Beckett wasn't there. I was there with Devin Hunter. So it was me and Devin. So Devin was at Indian River first. And then my old head coach who was my head coach my freshman year when I was at Lakeland. He had went to I think got a job at Hammond as a quarterback coach. And then like a year later, he was I heard that he got a coaching job at Indian River. So with that whole process that was going on, he would everything was going on. I just felt like that if I wanted to do I still wanted to do a better chance of making it out of somewhere from where I'm from, it was better for me to switch schools.
Yeah.
So I left Indian River and I left Lakeland and went to Indian River, and I rejoined with Coach Furby. And like I said, we did that. We changed the program around my junior year, and then again, like I said, to get it to my senior year, me and Beckett, we could never stand each other. And he'll tell you that to this day.
I would not have guessed that.
it was just how can I say? It was the school. I stood out. Beckett went to Austin Smith, so he had some guys to play behind. It was just I played as a freshman. He didn't play as a freshman. And he always tell me this one little story that Coach Morgan telling. He was your boy ain't doing all this that you around here doing. And he was just every time Coach Morgan would say something to him, he would try to compare him to me. And he was just that just added more fuel to his fire. He was just I gotta do something. So then again, it got to the point where me and Beckett played our junior year. That's when all the talk really started. They were okay, Beckett playing, Yulee playing. And next thing you know, they were always who the best linebacker out of the 757. It was always me and him. They were calling my back and forth, me and him. So it got to a point that next thing you know, Beckett transferred to Indian River. And I was sitting there I was just I think we was in the hallway. We just had left class. And Coach Furby had walked in he walked inside the class. He was hey, your boy in the office. And I like, my boy. He was like, yeah, Beckett. He about to transfer. I said, Beckett about to transfer to Indian River. He was like, yeah. So he was like, go out there and say what's up to him. So I went there and I saw him. I said, hey, Beckett, welcome. Then he looked at me. He was like, no, bro, I'm leaving. I'm going back to Smith. So then the next thing, like I said, man, my enemy turned into my best friend.
Yeah.
It went a long ways. It got to the point that we realized that we the best, and the people say they made you the best in the 7-5, and we got to show them.
Yeah.
And it was like that's what we did. We went out there. We had one of the best defenses around in the area. We was doing big stuff, stopping big time running backs. Running backs wasn't getting over 30 yards against us. It was just how it was. It was just like we just had to live up to our name, and it's basically what we did. Like I said, every day it was, man, we always hung out with each other back and forth. It won't never like a day that we ain't spend with each other our senior year.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that you guys were like rivals a little bit. That.
Yeah,
but
we were rivals.
They say that you're so similar that you kind of don't like one another, and then you realize, well, damn, why? Like we're the same. We're cut the same. Like you don't get to an elite level without being cut kind of the same. You're gonna, but that's the alpha in you that wants to be better than the next man. So what happens when you got two alphas that come head to head? Well, there's going to be some headbutting going on. Of course, it only makes sense. Yeah. But that's a great story. But I know, like a lot of areas, right? Even areas where I'm from, where I grew up, a lot of times those local athletes, that's who the community kind of rallies around, because a lot of people are living vicariously through, the high school athlete, because especially where I'm from, a lot of people didn't go on and do athletics or much of anything past high school, right? That was just it. A lot of people that was it. So every year they want to know, man, how's Indian River looking this year? How's Hurricane High School looking this year, Trace? How, are they going to compete for a title? Indian River going to compete for a title? That goes along with living in a small area, right? And it's a pride thing. So what do you still find that when you go back to that area that people are like, man, it's Jaquan Yulee? Can you believe that?
Yeah, like I said, like I was telling anybody, like, and to this day, like, it's teachers who was there, and they were just like, I'll never forget you. Yeah. They were just like, you came to our school, and you and Coach Faber, y'all turned the whole football program from losing to winning. Right. And they were just like, ever since I came there, and Coach Faber came there, and we basically changed the program, and we kind of lifted it back to how it was back in the day. And he was just like, they were just like, you will always be somebody that I always remember, and things like that kind of mean a lot to me, because like, it's like I left an effect on somebody older than me. Like, right. That's like, like that's not too normal. Somebody who's like above age, like twice your age, and they looking like, man, I'm looking up to you. Like, that's actually big, and it was just like, when I was told that, I was just looking like, dang, I never really looked at it that deep, that it could be people who's 10 times or like 2 times older than me. That's like, okay, I like the way he does things, and I'm gonna look up to him type thing. So, but like I said, that was a good feeling.
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, it's a really deep respect thing, because not only are they appreciative that you turned around the program that they love so much, right? But they're like, wow, I really respect the fact that he did it the right way. He worked his ass off and was just not willing to be second best. And here you had a man lying right up next to you who was also not willing to be second best. So you had these two forces that were pushing each other to be absolutely best that they could possibly be. I can only imagine what that does for, a community. Trace has seen
overall, like, with that whole thing, like our defense that year, it was crazy. Like you had me and Beckett at linebacker, then you had Devin Hunter at safety. It was just like, you can pick or choose. Yeah. Throw the ball, interception, run the ball, you run into two trains. Right. Then Devin Hunter coming down hitting 2. That's like 3 of us. Like, that's like, it was, I don't know. It wasn't like no way that you could really do it. Like,
It was
like
almost, it was unfair, is what it was.
each way you go, it was unfair. It was like you gonna run to Beckett, you can run to Yulee, or you come to Devin. It was like either way, you got to take a hit. So it was just like,
yeah.
I get it. It's unfair. You're gonna earn these daggone yards. That's what it is. Like ain't nothing for free today. That's what it is. You see Indian River step off the bus, you know you're going to earn every daggone yard you're going to gain that day.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about, really, when it comes down to it. So, look, when we start getting towards the end of the high school career, when did you see, like, your personal recruitment start to pick up? You said you came to Indian River your junior year. So was it then were you seeing, you know, a little bit of that as a sophomore, or did it really kind of catch hold as a junior, or was it even as a senior?
Honestly, my whole football career, it started off in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
You know, I got my first 2 offers in the 7th grade from the University of Virginia and Virginia Tech.
Wow.
Like I said, I remember like it was yesterday. It was Coach Brian Steinspring and Coach Cornell Brown. It was just like I don't know, like I really thought it was a dream, you know, like I said, being in middle school, not playing down of high school football, not being nowhere around. It was just like, I was like, wow, like I just really got an offer in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that was like, once I seen that, I just knew. I was like, I'm blessed, because it's not too many people getting opportunities like that. Like it was just, and in fact, I just couldn't get over just looking like, I never played a down to high school football, and I just got an offer from 2 big universities.
Yeah.
I'm on in the 7th grade. Like that was just wild. That was mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw any shade whatsoever, but you're talking about UVA and you're talking about Virginia Tech. It's not like it was Old Dominion. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no disrespect intended, but we're talking about the 2 biggest universities in the state of Virginia Tech and University of Virginia. Like, not Old Dominion, not freaking James Madison, you know, but I mean, who are successful in their own right. I'm not trying to take anything away, but this is the magnitude of stuff we're talking about. And we're talking about the 7th grade. There are guys, I mean, thousands of athletes every year that come out of high school that don't get any type of offer whatsoever. And you're talking about being in middle school with this whole process starting. And we see when it comes, like I wrote the stats down from your 24/7 recruiting profile, just so we can see where it kind of all ended when we come to talking about 2016. You know, it comes out, finalizes at a 4-star linebacker rated 0.9285 overall, 92.8 out of 100, 171st player nationally, number 9 inside linebacker in the nation, and the number 3 recruit in the state of Virginia. That's how impressive the stat line reads after the senior year or during the senior year of high school, when all the camps and all that stuff are breaking down and everybody's getting rated and all that good stuff. And the laundry list of offers it's a who's who of college football. I mean, it's impressive. So we talked about you getting your first offers in 7th grade and, you know, moving into high school. We talked about how dominating of performances you guys turned in and game out at Indian River. So when did you start seeing those type who's who players coming to Chesapeake, Virginia to walk the halls and see you? When was Nick Saban showing up? You know what I mean? When was Dabo Sweeney showing up? Was it senior year? Was it junior year?
I want to say it was junior year. Junior year, that's really when things had like started to kick in. That's like when things were starting to kick in for real.
Yeah.
It was just like it was a talk. It was really the talk of the whole state. It was just like, and then again the whole 7-5, like, oh, Jaquan Yulee and Devin Hunter. Then again, like I said, Devin already had his platform before I even came there. So It was just like what Devin built, I'm coming to add on to it, and I can help out.
Yeah.
And it was just like once, like I said, Devin had some offers too. And like man was one of like 2 of the best in the state of Virginia. And it was just like them 2 together, it can really be something special. And like I said, like all the coaches started walking in. Like I said, once again, Devin was who he was, and I was who I was. It was just like once we came together, we became a package deal.
Man, I can't imagine. You can't imagine being. How great is it to be a coach, to go visit one player and then you find, holy crap, there's another blue chipper right here in the same defense. This is mind-boggling, right? I mean, it's a good problem to have if you're if you're Indian River, two top tier Division I athletes, well, three really, and so we talk about the process, the recruiting process itself. I mean, you know, I didn't have to go through it. Obviously, you look at me, I'm 5 foot nothing, 150 nothing pounds. Like, I'm not no blue chip linebacker, right? I'm not going through the recruiting process. Nobody wants me to line up. Okay.
Right.
So let's talk about the process. Like, we hear a lot of things about things that get said, promises that get made, and this, that, and the other. And, you know, we don't know what's true and what's false and what, you know, we don't know. We never went through it. So in your experience, is there a fair amount of misleading information given to you to try to coax you to come to one school versus the other?
I mean, to be honest, it's gonna always be, you know, if you come to my school, we can get you this, we can get you that, we can borrow this and that. Like I said, don't get me wrong. Some of it is true, and some of it is false. You know.
I'm not talking about things. I'm not talking about things like, "Hey, man, we'll get you a car." None of that illegal crap. I'm just talking about, like, you know, promises made, like, "Hey, if you come here, you can start year one," and then
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, when we're coming in, that's all we're talking about. Like, just come in, like, oh, I can promise you that you'll get this amount of reps and this and that amount of reps. That's basically what, like I said, that's everybody's dream, you know.
Right.
Like, coming in out of high school, going into the next level, and playing your first time, like, that's actually big. And like I said, that's everybody's dream. But like I said, at the end of the day, that comes with a lot of hard work and dedication when you get there too. You know, like, things not gonna always be given, and you can just take it how it is. You know, it's never going to be like that. But like I said, it's a lot of stuff that, you know, like I said, if you a guy and you somebody who a coach really can think you could come in and play right away, that's something that you got to take to your head and, like, okay, this coach tell me I could come in and play right away, but it's got to be a mindset thing. It can't just be what they told you.
Yeah.
You know, you got to come in ready. Like, there's no waiting. There's no trying to. Okay, at the end of the day, the same spot that you at, it's another guy that's trying to beat you right there. So, like, they bringing you in to replace somebody. It's just gonna be like, who hungry the most. Well,
I mean, you can only put 11 on the field, and you can't put 11 linebackers on the field. So that tells you right there that you got to work for everything. But we have heard throughout the years, right? It's no secret that guys will commit to schools like Alabama, and they'll set for 2 years just to get that opportunity to play 1 year. And we're not talking about, you know, the number 100 linebacker, and we're talking about number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys year in and year out, and go to Alabama, and they'll set for 2 years because there's 3 NFL draft picks already playing. You know, so that's tough. I imagine that would be very tough to come from being a massively successful high school player and then have to be forced to sit, even though the practice is where you're going to make your money, right? That's where the reps are coming. You show off on Saturday what you've been working your ass off on Monday through Friday, I'm sure. But what was it for you that was the most attractive thing? Was it early playing time? Was it, you know, being like playing in a X conference, or was it playing, you know, I wanted to be able to play in big stadiums? What was it for you?
I mean, for me, like I said, coming out of high school, my first school that I was committed to was Alabama. You know, like, I took the visit and I saw how everything was going and I saw how everything was moving. It was just like, wow, like, who wouldn't want to come and play for Nick Saban?
Right.
Like I said, anybody, that's everybody's dream. You know, like I tell anybody, where I'm from, not too many people get that opportunity to say that, oh, I got an offer from this type of school, or like, I got some, like I said, that's Alabama. You can't beat that. If the best wants you, I want to go play with the best. And, like, that was just my mindset. It was just like, if I want to get to where I want to go and do what I want to do to change my family life, then Alabama is a fit for me. And like I said, like, when I went to go talk to Coco Saban, it won't never know sugarcoating nothing. He was keeping everything real. He was just letting you know, like, I got 10 of you. Like, I got this of you. Like, I got this of you. Like, it's not like, oh, somebody at a different type of school. You going to a school where you got everybody who's around you. It's the same thing as you. Like, y'all both 4-star, 5-star athletes. Y'all top in every position. it was just like I just liked I like the competition. It was just like something that I feel like that I can really fit into. But like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to qualify for it.
Yeah.
So coming into my last, I found out that I wasn't qualified for it. I missed it by 1 point. I supposed to think we had like I think going into high school 2016, I think you had like a 2.3, something like that. Like I said, I didn't qualify for it, so unfortunately, I had to find a different route. So I had wound up going to Marshall. Like I told him about it, that was in the beginning. I thought it was embarrassing, just because like I was the top linebacker coming out of Virginia. Like I was committed to Alabama. Like it's like I went up and I went down. It was like that's like I said in the beginning. I felt embarrassed about it. It was like dang, but I mean, as time went on, I realized that it's no need for me to feel some type of way about that because at the end of the day, I'm still going to school.
Right.
I'm still getting a chance to live what I want to do. I'm not being home, getting in trouble, getting arrested. I'm not doing no stuff like that. I'm actually trying to chase my dream. So and like when all that happened, it was just like I didn't want to tell everybody in the beginning that I committed to Marshall. Like it was just like I don't know. Like I said I tell anybody I was kind of embarrassed to say it, but at the end of the day, I looked at it over time, and it actually helped me. Making that decision actually got me ahead of things and like got me looking at certain things a certain way. Everything don't always be as planned, so it was just like I just took it on the chin.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just used that as motivation.
I remember when the news was circling around and it was, wow, Jaquan Yulee's signed with Marshall. And everybody was like, what? How? We were like, how? Everybody in the Conference USA circles was like, how? This is unbelievable. What did Doc Holliday do? How did he pull this off? That's what everybody's thinking. And, it's also no secret that many athletes have come to Marshall that could have gone to quote unquote bigger schools. And, there are academic programs in place there for their athletes that are a big pull. It helps Marshall bring in guys that they can help them be successful. And I know for a fact that's been a big player in a lot of guys over the years. And, if that turned out to be one of the reasons that you ended up at Marshall, I don't see that as a bad thing at all. I think that's great that there are programs that they had there to help those dudes. Like, dude, who cares if you didn't qualify missed it by a point? That's a hard one to take. 1 point, that's hard to take. But you're at the end of the day, you're right. You're still going to school. You still get to play ball. You're still getting these opportunities. And guys have went to, higher levels of ball from Marshall before. So it's not an unprecedented thing. Prestige wise, I would be a fool to sit here and try to make a case that Marshall's is as prestigious as Alabama. That's just foolish. It's not. But what we do know, and now I know what you know from being in Huntington for several years, is people in that town, they love Marshall. They love it. And then by association, they love you as well. And how many dozens, hundreds of people, they don't know you, they never met you, but they'll come up and throw their arms around you and hug you just because you got Kelly Green M on, and they feel like you're part of their family. That's just the way it is. They've done it to me many, many times. And I never played a down for the herd ever, believe me. So sometimes it doesn't feel good, but when you get to let it kind of settle in and you're like, okay, this is where I'm at now. It's not that bad. The people like me here. Like I said, you were a fan favorite from the beginning. But let's talk about, so now you're at Marshall, and who's in the linebacker room? Like when you come to campus, who's in the linebacker room that are the dudes? These are the guys.
Coming in, I think the guys were Chase Hancock,
all timer,
Frankie Hernandez. Who was the outside guy?
Was Jermaine Holmes still there?
Nah.
He must have been gone. See,
I'm trying to think. The only people who I could think about that was the guys that was in front of was Chase Hancock and Frankie.
Yeah, man, but both those guys, highly productive linebackers. Chase Hancock
Yeah.
is an all-timer. He's a Marshall all-timer, in my opinion. I mean, he just is. His story's great. Walk-on, local kid. I mean, in-state kid, the whole nine. His story's great. So you look at that, and you're sitting there as your first year at Marshall, and you're thinking, okay, these are the guys I got to compete with. What is in your head at that point? What are you thinking? Like, all right, I got a little setback. It's time to regroup. Like, where's Jaquan Yulee's mind at this moment?
Walking into the linebacker room, just know how, like, I don't know. It was like I knew things were going to be different, from high school and to college. We didn't do certain things that college players do and college coaches do, and how, like, back then. So it was like getting into the new room. It was, like I said, it was kind of frustrating. In the beginning, trying to learn all the new plays. Trying to get along, like, see how everything going. Trying to get everything down pat. It was just, like I said, it was just, I don't know. Like, as time in the beginning, it was hard, but then towards the end, it was just everything was falling in place. It was just like we just gotta follow through.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you got players like Chase Hancock and Frankie in front of you, like who been there for years, and they doing what they're supposed to do, it's kind of hard to try to put a freshman out there,
Yeah.
Trying to get them in the game and try to go at everything. So that's basically how everything was. Of course, everybody wanted to see more. Everybody had questions. Everybody seen when I got in, it was, okay, Yulee, okay, why you not doing this? Why you not doing that? It was just like, I'm just playing my role.
Right.
It wasn't nothing that I could actually do about it. It was just however they wanted the show to go. That's how they played it right.
Yeah, and I will say this to your credit. We follow Western Kentucky and Marshall closer than any two teams in the country, period. And for all the years that we've been doing this show, we've been doing this podcast since before you arrived at Marshall. So, we've followed the trajectory of your career. And I will say this, no matter how the reps went, how things didn't ultimately go the way fans and maybe yourself and maybe even some coaches wanted them to go, we never once heard, like, in the news, out in the rumors, like, Yulee's talking that junk, like, never was a distraction, never. Yeah. And I know that's incredibly frustrating to have to deal with, but to be able to take it, like, in stride and just be like, I'm going to play my role. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I find that to be incredibly, I don't even know the right word. Like, I can appreciate that. I can respect that. I think it's a good message to send to younger players, like guys that might be in a similar situation. Like, you should be on the field. I know if I'm on that field, I can make a difference. I know I can, but I'm not asked to be on the field right now. So you don't bitch and complain about it. You just, again, like you said before, you take that on the chin and you roll with it. I can't do anything but respect that. I really can't. But what we did see, this is some fun stuff now. What we did see is an absolute wrecking ball on special teams. Holy shit. We saw play after play, hard hit after hard hit. And Steven's sitting over there to the left of you on the screen. And one of the plays that put you, like, shot up the boards for me right off the get-go. 2017, 75 week. You're playing Western Kentucky. It's the Moonshine Throwdown. Jaquan Yulee comes in and puts two big licks. One, I don't know who. I know one was on Cam Eccles' looper. I remember that, but I don't remember what the other one was on. You just kind of got a forced fumble, but two big licks in that game. One of my favorite things. I was actually watching it just the other day. I'm a nerd like that. I go back and watch old highlights from those games.
Same.
I watched that big hit, and then I get a bow. And I love that. We get the bow, and you may not know this, but from a game way back, like the mid 90s, Western Kentucky played Marshall, and there was a big catch, a big play, and the Western Kentucky guy turns and does a bow. And I was like, I can't believe this. The same thing happens all the 20 years later. But yeah, let's talk about the mindset, the approach to special teams, because I know that ain't for everybody, right? That there's a reason that the NFL and the college has limited the amount of contact that's potentially there on special teams. It's because it's damn dangerous. So what's the mindset when you are lined up on kick coverage and you're like, dude, I'm about to wreck this dude's like something's going to happen. Where are you at? What do you like? I don't know this. You got to feed that to me.
I mean, like, to be honest, like at Marshall, it was just like Coach Holiday. He was just like, y'all want to play for y'all want to get reps. Y'all want to do this and that, but y'all got to play special teams. That's basically where it all starts at. For to be honest, like if you want to put in a name to your position, you got to play special teams. And it was just like, I'm looking like, well, shoot, you can count me in. Like kickoff. I don't care what it is. Like I told him, I just want to hit people. Yeah. It was just like, it got to the point. It was just like, man, if I want to play, like all they kept preaching, right? If y'all want to play, y'all got to go out there and show us why we should play y'all.
Okay.
And it was just like, well, shoot, this how I'm gonna get my message out. Like
I can hit harder than the next guy, right?
I never put my strength towards anything. I still don't know how strong I am. It's just that what can you do when you got 245 pounds coming at you with like a 4 or 5, 4 or 6 for like I'm getting a head start. Like what can you do? Like I tell anybody, kick return, that first line is dangerous. You gotta have some balls. Yeah. You gotta have some balls to run back, then try to turn around and stop somebody that's coming full speed at you. Like you gotta have some balls. Like that's like I tell anybody, kickoff is going to show you if somebody made for football or not. That's a good way to put it. Really, it's going to show you. It's going to really show you if you really love the game of football. Yeah. Because it's either you gonna do the hitting or somebody gonna hit you. Yeah. And like I said, I always Ray Lewis. That's my role model. And it's just like one time I was watching the video, he always said, my mindset is to hit them before they hit me. Because that one chance that they hit you, that made your career, like everything just may be done. It was just like, so that always been my mindset, like, okay, well, I'm gonna hit you before you hit me because I don't want you to hurt me. Right. Man. So like that just always stuck with me, and I just felt like that couldn't nobody stop me. And like if you was in front of me, I'm going through you. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Like I done done that. Like it's been teams who don't try to triple team. It done been teams who don't try, and I done got through all of it. It was just like, what can you do? Well,
I don't know, but we're gonna talk about the hit that everybody loves. I mean, it still comes up on my timeline, and it's gonna come up on my timeline or social media or whatever Twitter evolves into or whatever evolves into forever. It's the lick you put on dude from NC State. That's going to be around forever. That'll be in Herd highlight videos for eternity. That's the same. That's in the same line of highlights of what's the dude's name in the Motor City Bowl, Trace? The linebacker that planted the Larry McLeod planted the guy, planted the dude from Ole Miss, and it's going to be this. That's the two biggest hits I can remember seeing in a Marshall game, dude. I know you're talking about you got to have some balls, and that's for sure. But when you catch it just right, you got the head of steam. The dude might not be looking quite at you, and you hit him, and the first thing that hits the ground is the damn back of his head. That's got to be a good feeling, because I feel you got to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that would feel like when you hit a home run in the sweet spot of the bat, because you don't feel nothing. But the ball felt every damn thing. So when you hit it just right, do you even feel anything? Or you're like, nope, every bit of my momentum went through that dude and into the ground, and I feel fine.
Man, listen, that play, man, like as I can tell you from the beginning, it was like I got to tell you from the beginning because like you wouldn't understand like how it was. Like it was just like coming out of halftime. It was just like we were coming back from halftime. It was just like I knew we had to kick the ball off. Coach Holiday was like, hey, give me my ball back. And once he said that, I was like, okay. So next thing you know, everybody out there scratching, about to get ready to go out there. And I told everybody, I said, hey, I don't know about y'all boys, but I'm about to go knock me a motherfucker out. and then they were like, everybody was like, okay, go do it. I'm looking like, y'all think I'm playing. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm really about to go and hit somebody. And then they were just like, man, go out there and do it. I was like, all right. And like it was just like when that ball kicked off, it was just like, boom. Like the ball was going, I'm running down the field. All I know, I see the guy in front of me. I see him shaking. Like I can feel fear. I can really feel fear. It was just like he didn't want to block me.
Yeah.
It was like he really didn't want to block me. It was just like when I ran up there and I seen him go over just a tad bit to the left, and I just leaned in right. And as soon as I leaned in right, I just happened to run right into him.
Yeah.
Like it was just like boom. I was just like, whoa.
It was more than boom. It was a collective 25,000 people going, ooh. I mean, like best thing. You can watch that 100 times. The whole damn stadium. Both announcers, I believe, are like, ooh. I mean, you can't. That's one of those plays you can't get enough of. And I know it sucks to like whittle down the entire career to one play, but man, what a play! Gee, many Christmas, what a play! Yeah. I ain't got no plays on the resume, so I would take one. Be honest with you, but truth be told, I'd be the boy hitting the ground instead of the dude doing the hitting. So, man, what a play! Anytime that rolls across my timeline, it gets a retweet. No,
Well, I tell anybody, I didn't feel nothing. Like it just felt like a good hit. It was I knew it. Like I really didn't feel nothing. Like my agility was just going. It was just like I was so amped up, and when I hit him, I was like, "Oh shit!" And like that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, damn, like I'm like, whoa! I'm looking like, man, like it's like getting up. All you just see, like I look in the crowd, our teams picked the ball up. He running towards the end zone. I'm stopped. I'm looking at the crowd like, oh my god! And like all you just hear everybody just talking about, oh my god, did you see that? I see everybody just grabbing their head just like this, and it was just like, I was like, wow,
that was legit. That was awesome. I mean, that was awesome. I was not there. I was not at the. I watched that on TV because I was of course down there. Here. But Trace, I was gonna say, I know for sure Trace was there, man. I know he was.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So look, we're now we got to fast forward a little bit, and we're gonna get through that 2018 season. We're done with that, and we're rolling around into summer camp of 2019, right? Like now's the time. I know as soon as 2018 ended, in Jaquan Yulee's mind, you're thinking, this is it. This is my year. Like I'm gonna grind harder. I'm gonna work harder. Ain't nobody gonna outwork me. I knew that. I knew that personally. That had to be the mindset because we had watched you wait your turn and pay your dues. And we knew that there was nowhere else to go. There was nobody to hide behind. It was Yulee's time. Not you hiding, but there was nobody for them to put in front of you. It was your time.
Right.
And to add to that, we had Tavante Beckett transfer into Marshall. And he had set out the year before. And now he was going to be lined up as well. And we thought, man, what a great storyline this is. You got Yulee, you got Beckett, you got the two best linebackers in the state of Virginia coming out of high school. And now they're reunited in the secondary or the second level for Marshall. This is going to be amazing, right? And a lot of hype. We talked about it on the podcast many, many times. When we did the position group breakdowns, we talked about linebackers. That's what it was all about. These guys are going to be unstoppable. Marshall's going to shut everybody down. This is going to be amazing. So let's talk about summer camp. We won't even worry about spring ball. Let's talk about summer camp because now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Spring ball is one thing, right? Summer camps where it happens, where the rubber meets the road. So where are you at? Like, what's the motivation? What's the mindset? What are the goals? What are you thinking? Like, this is my time. Where are you at right now?
Honestly, I had to be honest, I really got to give it to the scrim staff, like the coaching staff, like Coach Luke Day. You know, if it wasn't for Coach Luke Day putting us through. So when I tell you, man, the workouts at Marshall was crazy. Like we lifting logs in the snow. We're pulling weight in the snow. Like we hands about to fall off. It was just like I just felt like going through a summer like that with him, just like that just separated everybody. It was just like nobody is really working at as hard as we working. That was I really got to give everything to Coach Lou Day because they really pushed us, and he really pushed me to the best I could be. He saw something in me. He was just like, you got to go get it. It's your turn. And like I said, going into that summer camp, I just knew it was my time. It wasn't nothing else that could stop me. The only person that could stop me is me.
Right.
Along that journey, it's always going to be somebody trying to take your spot. It's always going to be the coaches trying to bring somebody in a room just to put pressure on you. It's always going to be certain times like that. But I never folded. I never folded when the pressure got brought upon me. It was just like it's like I just looked at it as, man, you had to beat me out my spot because I'm not going nowhere. I've been here too long.
Right.
That's basically
you
how
done
my
paid your
mindset
dues,
was.
right?
Yeah, it was just
I paid my dues. You're gonna have to pay yours now. I ain't moving for nobody.
I ain't moving. It was just like I had that mentality that nobody was gonna outbeat me at that position.
Yeah.
And it was just like, then again, you got me at middle linebacker. Then you got Tavante Beckett playing Will. Like that's once again, that's another thing that's in high school. But then again, we got more names. We got Darius Hodge. Like we got Steve. Like we got Gilmore. We had Pitts. We had Johnson, Najee Johnson. Like it was. I knew from that summer of how hard that we worked. I knew that Marshall was going to be in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can really tell you that, and that's my God honest truth. I knew from that summer, and I knew how that team bonding was, and how everything was clicking. I knew that team was going to be special.
Yeah, we all
really
thought that too.
That.
We did. We thought that too. We thought that defense was going to be just shut down and pretty much unstoppable. And I mean, if you go back and look at it, they kind of were anyway, but it's a huge piece to miss out of the middle. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm sure how much time did you get before everything came to an abrupt end? Was it like, what was that, first quarter? Or was it just in the second?
It was the first quarter. It was the first quarter. Like I want to say it was like, how many quarters in the first quarter? I want to say like it's 12, ain't it?
What, minutes?
Like yeah, minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah, it's 15 minutes. Like I said, it was like 7 minutes left in the game when I got injured. It was like 7 minutes left in the game. Like I was having a field day. Like the first 20 plays, I had 7 of them. I had like 7 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 1 sack. Like I was having a field day. It was just like I tell him about it, I felt amazing. It was everything was going perfect. Like I really thought I was gonna end that game with at least close to 40 tackles.
Wow.
Like it was like I already had 7 at like 7 minutes left in the game. In the first quarter.
In the first quarter, yeah.
Like there's no telling what I'm gonna do. Like, but like I said, it was just like we was doing our thing. It was just like then that, like I said, Talik ran the punt back, and once Talik ran the punt back, it was just like we had to go back out there, and like I said, everything was just moving. Like I said, everything felt normal. We got the first play out of the way. The next thing you know, we were trying to do the area play. And we tried to get our call in. We tried to get set up. And it was just like by the time we got set up, I looked to the right, the ball was height, It was just, we had ran what we ran. And it was just like where he came. Cause I saw the quarterback. And it was like when I see his eyes connect to the receiver that was coming in towards me, I immediately just ran towards him. And I just knew like once the ball hit him and I formed my tackle to hit him, it was just like his whole body was just on my neck. And it just boom. Like I said, once I hit him, I lost all the feeling in my body. I blacked out for about like a good 5 seconds. Like I said, with that whole process, I was just like, whoa. Like I was just like, to be honest, for a little, I was kind of nervous when I blacked out. And like when I blacked out and I came on, like I woke up and like I started moving my hands, but I couldn't for a second I couldn't feel my lower part.
Yeah.
It was just like my lower bottom bottle, I couldn't feel it first. So I tried to, try to get my feeling, try to get it back. Next thing you know, my legs started moving. So I was like, okay, cool. But like I tell anybody, that hit, man, I promise you, I felt like I could have got up and walked. Like right after that hit, I felt like I was gonna come back. Like you can ask the teammates, the players that was on the team that year, and I was the whole time I'm on the ground laughing and joking with everybody. I'm telling them like, look, y'all go finish the game. I'm about to go to the hospital right fast, get this X-ray, and come back. I'll be back by halftime. Y'all keep doing your thing. And it was just like at that moment, it's just like everybody laughing with me, but the trainer was just like, Mr. You don't think you're gonna return. And when he said, I was like, what you mean? I'm telling him like it's nothing major. I'm like, man, I'm good. I said, I promise you. And I said, next thing you know, he was like, Mr. Yulee, I think you broke your neck. And when he said that, I'm looking like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm looking like broke my neck. And I'm just laying there on the ground like, what you mean broke my neck? Like I knew it was serious when it got to the point where they cut my jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they cut my jersey, I was like, the whole time I'm joking around, like, bro, I just got this jersey. Like, y'all could just cut my jersey right off me. So now they cut my jersey off me, and they took the face mask off me. At that moment, I just knew it was serious. Like, they had to cut my shoulder pads off me. Like, that's how I knew at that moment it was real. But like I said, I couldn't really process it in my head like that it's officially that I really broke my neck. It wasn't. The doctors had to show me my X-ray in order for me to believe it.
Yeah.
Because like I tell anybody, I felt normal. It won't no part of me saying, "Oh, if I move my neck, I'm no." Like I felt normal. It won't no part of me saying that I broke my neck. So like I said, I felt normal.
I know that you had to have been thinking, what the hell are y'all talking about? I've made this tackle 10,000 times. Like, I've gotten stingers 1,000 times. That's all this shit is. I'll be all right. I mean, I know that's what's got to be going through your head. Like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, dude, I've done this 1,000,000 times. Y'all get out of my way. Let me walk it off. I'll be good. And so I was actually about to ask you, like, what was going through your mind when you're laying there on the turf? But I was thinking, like, because from the standpoint of watching the game, it was like everybody was trying to keep you from moving. They didn't want you to do anything. Like, just let us do what we need to do. And it was the longest. I mean, it was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes of real time. And we were like, as a member not even in the crowd, but like watching on TV, I was thinking, holy shit, man, this cannot be good. Anything 20 minutes cannot be good. And but to hear you say, no, I'm sitting there joking on the ground, like, I'll be fine, I'll be back in a couple minutes. First of all, let me tell you, some 3 years later, 2 years later, that's really a relief to hear. I mean, because we thought it was bad, but to hear you say, man, I'm just joking around, it was no big deal to you. That's a relief to hear. And I'm sure a lot of people that will listen to this episode will also go, whew, good. We were genuinely worried, and they have probably carried a little bit of that worry up until they hear this, and they can kind of let that go. So that's great to hear. And then, and I have this image, this picture on my camera roll that I kept from social media, where you're talking about they cut your jersey off, and all it is a still photo of your jersey draped across the back of the bleachers or the bench. And I thought, man, what a profound image, because we have this captivating, polarizing player that has been the middle of the excitement in one capacity or another for a number of years at Marshall. I mean, like, really very few have. There are a handful of guys that I personally can recall that kept the fans as engaged for as long as you did. You were one of those guys. Another one of those guys was Devin Johnson. The people just loved Devin Johnson, loved him. But the list of players that were able to do that are really, really short. It's the Chad Penningtons. It's the Devin Johnsons. I'm sure there are plenty more, but it's not like it's 100 guys. So all the talk being around, and then that image, it really kind of hit me, and I was like, whoa, this is this is a serious situation. This is different now. This is different. And it became an interest for us on the show. We wanted to follow your recovery. We were genuinely interested. We weren't just like social media interested when you would say, hey, things are going good, and you'd get a quick retweet. That was not where we were at. We were like genuinely interested in how you were doing. But at the same time, Trace and I don't know you. So we're not going to be like, hey, man, hope you're feeling okay. Because that's just that's a boundary we don't want to cross. But I will tell you, like straight up, we were concerned. We carried that with us over these years. We've been intrigued by the journey. We've been intrigued by the recovery. And, that's why part of the reason we wanted to get you on here, we wanted to let you talk about it. We wanted to get it out there. We wanted to get you to a place to where you felt like you've finally been heard after you've had to been basically quiet for a couple of years. And we wanted to also let you know that there were tons of people just like us who weren't going to cross that boundary on social media, but that were genuinely like pulling for you. And we still are, it's like you may not ever line up in Kelly Green again, but we are genuinely pulling for you. So let's talk about that recovery. Okay. Cause it was long. It was hard. You had setbacks. We followed that. We got to the point where we thought, all right, Jaquan's like, he's right there. This is it. And then it was doctors say, I need another surgery. Damn. We're like, son of a bitch. What the heck? Like the licks keep coming for this dude. And by God, he just keeps taking them. So take us through the recovery. All right. You find out, all right, look, you're not going to play the rest of 2019. We're there now. So what are you looking at? What are they telling you you're staring down the barrel of?
Like I said, that whole process, man, was, when I say it was crazy, because it was just like, it was like I said, when you get from a point in time where somebody tell you that you're not gonna walk again, like you're not gonna be able to do this again, you're not gonna be able to do that again. Like I try to tell them about, that's nothing that somebody who's been playing football all their life want to hear, Like I said, I'm like, it was, like I said, it was just so much that was being said that I wasn't gonna do this, I wasn't gonna do that. And like I said, it was just like, dang, like I know God got me, like God got me this far. I done been through a lot coming up before this, I done been through things that was kind of harder than what was going on now. So it was just like, I just had to look at it as like what's next, And then the guys finally, like I said, once everything was going on, recovery going well, process going well, things going up, then it gets to the point where the first surgery, I go up for my checkup. It's like right before the coaches, the doctors let me know if I'd be able to come back and play or not.
Yeah.
And it was like that was also my senior year. So I said going into it, it was just like, okay, and I went there, and next thing you know, they were just like, sorry to tell you this, but you're going to have another surgery. So when that was going on, I was looking at things like whoa, like how, like what happened, I was like, we were always trying to figure out like what was going on, but we could never get our answer. Like it just, I don't know, like to the point to like where like things were going on, and it was just so much going on that wasn't right. It was just like a lot of stuff going on underneath the table, and not like people let you know what's going on up front. And it's just like you had to figure everything out through other people or certain things. It was just like how like I said, that whole process when we get injured and like towards the end, I felt like it was kind of messed up. But then again, I had to look at it as like one of my teammates was trying to tell me, Artie Henry, he was like, man, it's a business thing, And a certain amount of, like I still had like a couple of years left, I had like two years still left with my medical record. So, I was just sitting there thinking like, man, I'm gonna be good. Like my energy was always up. It won't never down for real. It was just like I always believed that I can make a comeback, I always come back from things. Nothing never really kept me down long. So it was just, I was looking like, man, I'm gonna do this, blah blah. like I tell anybody, never once in my mind that I ever wanted to leave Marshall. Never did. Like I tell anybody, I still got friends there who done played years before me, and I done made bonds with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's like who was there way before me. Like I done made friends. I done made like a lot of friends that was good people. You know, like I said, my intention was to never leave. You know, but unfortunately, things wasn't going as things were told, and a lot of things was not being said. So I just felt like that the best move for me was to leave.
Yeah.
And I just knew if I left, it would have been a bunch of question marks. And like I said, then again, I think I want to say before me, Isaiah Green left too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was just like Marshall losing top guys back to back. What's going on? It was always red flags, you know. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't wish no harm on nobody. I just wish things could have been ran better than the way it was, you know. At the end of the day, I understand it's a business. I understand y'all gotta do certain things to keep the thing rolling and this and that. But it's a certain way that y'all should be able to do things and let certain players know. You know, things shouldn't be said or this and that or everybody mindset all over the place. You know, but at the end of the day, a lot of people couldn't say much because they want to keep their job, you know. So in there, like I said, in order, I just felt like the best part for me was to leave and let everybody else do the guessing to it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I didn't have to say nothing about Marshall. I said I left. It was the fans that was asking this question, this da. What's going on? What's that? The media put that together. Yeah. You know, it was just everybody was trying to put all the pieces together. It was like it's a big puzzle. Everybody just trying to put each puzzle together that look like and fit in that certain spot. You know. But like I tell anybody, I feel like everything is in a good control right now though. The herd now, the boys gonna be special.
Yeah.
They're gonna be real special. I can tell you that off rip. They got a lot of talent on offense and defense, you know. Them boys gonna be something special. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to the championship.
Well, I mean, that's always going to be the expectation in Huntington. You know that. Mm-hmm. Coaches, players, fans, whatever. That's always going to be the expectation. It's championship or bust. But you know, let me take a few steps back because even we would always speculate amongst ourselves. We'd never really put it out there, you know, like conspiracy theory shit, but we would always be wondering like, what do you think's going on? And even some of the things that we were seeing or reading or wherever, we even will back me up on this. We even got the feeling, it just felt like you were being jerked around, you know, like you tell them one thing and then something else happens and it's not that. And I mean, we don't have any indication of what was being said or what was doing it. We're not insiders, you know what I mean? But even just from the surface, it's like, what is going on here? It just it didn't pass the smell test. Just something didn't seem right. And we knew that it just seemed eventually like there was going to be a split somewhere. And we don't fault anybody for that. I mean, it's not my job to cast blame on anybody at all. And I also know that you only get this go around once, right? I went to college once. I ain't going back. You're only going to have so many snaps in your body before you don't have any more. And you got to do always what's best for you. And I don't think there's a fan out there that is like angry that you chose to leave. They might be disappointed that they don't get to see you line up for the herd anymore, but I don't think anybody's like pissed off that you're like transferring. You know what I mean? I don't get that at all. I think if anything, wherever your next opportunity comes, people are going to continue to watch and keep tabs and be like, how's he doing? But we do that. I do that with players that have left Marshall, have left Western Kentucky, have gone on other places and, you know, done well or whatever the case may be. But so let's talk about the future, right? There's some positivity. Now, we don't need to end this crap on some downtrodden crud. Let's talk about the future. I know you're hoping, and I'm not looking for you to break any news or anything. That's not what the game we're playing here. We are hopeful that you have found a spot or are in the process of finding a spot. But I want to know where you're at now. Where's your? We've talked a lot about where your head's at, where your motivation came from, this, that, and the other. So tell me where you're feeling now. What kind of space are you in now today, looking forward? It's got to be good, right? It can't get much worse. We've already recovered from a killer injury. It's got to be good, right? You said God's got you. You're a blessed son, right? So what does 2021 hopefully hold for Jaquan Yulee and beyond?
2021, I can tell you now, it's going to be special, man. It's really going to be special. It's like I tell you about it. I don't wish that type of injury up on nobody.
Right.
Like that's not, like I said about, like the doctor told me, that's not the type of injury that anybody can come back from. It was just, like I was telling about it was long nights, me just standing up and just being there, just sitting there thinking to myself like, dang, what if everything that everybody else saying is true? Like what if they do say that I can't, like I would never play again? Like I tell anybody, one thing about me, I'm gonna always look at a situation from the good and the bad. Because at the end of the day, it's no reason to get your hopes up and always try to focus on the good when it can take one thing that can make that good turn into a bad. It was just like I had to look at it from both sides and just understand like, well, whatever happens, I had a hell of a run. That's basically how I had my mindset. Like I honestly had already had like a speech ready, like just in case I wasn't going to return to football. It was already like I'm looking like, dang, how am I going to explain this?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody prayed for me, this and that. It was just like, no matter what, I love a legacy. Like something I can't really say like a legacy, but I love some things that everybody could be like, dang, he was a guy. Like he did certain stuff that a lot of people couldn't do.
Yeah.
It was always looked at things from the bad side, but on the good side, man, I'm blessed. Like I'm blessed to really be able to get back and do what I love to do. It's been a long time coming. I've been talking to schools on and off, back and forth. I've been getting people to tell me go to a HBCU. You feel me? Go back to a D1. Go back and do that. And just to answer that, I can do all three of those things. I can do all of it if I really wanted to. I can go play D1 again. I can go and I can do all that. But it's just like everybody tried to tell me like it's a position and a time that I'm in that I want to do. Everybody just keep telling me that when I make my decision, just make sure that the school that I go to need me and just don't want me.
Right.
So like I said, I'm really looking at everything from all the angles. I'm trying to talk to every coach, just to make sure that everything is locked in and loaded. And like I said, my birthday next Friday, and I plan on making my decision next Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so a tad bit of breaking news, something to look forward to. But look, like I said in the beginning, I ain't here to interrupt you. I want you to speak, but since I did, my bad. I'm glad we'll get the opportunity to potentially see you on a roster somewhere. That's awesome. So 2021 looks like it might be the year. It might be the year. And then we get to talk about, you get other stuff you get to deal with. You got NIL in place now. You got extra year eligibility from COVID back. There's a lot now going in your favor. From 2 years ago, it looked like it was the rock bottom. And now some things happened with the NCAA and not some pleasant things happened with a pandemic, but it got you a year back, I think. So 2021 looks like it could be a really, really, really special year and beyond. I'm really ecstatic for you. It's kind of a weird scenario to be in, you know, because like I said, like I've never met you, like I don't know you, but we draw these relationships with these players and these folks that we see doing what we do, the podcast and following on social media, following the team. So there are certain guys you start pulling for, and actually you pull for everybody, but when some adversity hits, you really pull for those dudes to be able to pull their boots up and move forward. And I don't think there's been a better story that I've been able to follow than this one. Yeah, it's got some ugly parts to it. And there's always going to be lies and deceit in any story, but you look like you're going to end up I hate to use the term getting the last laugh because that's not what it's about, but you're going to get the opportunity to pursue the dream still. And that's really what it's all about. I'm not trying to, I definitely don't want to rush you out of here, but I do have to ask you this. You know, like I told you before, there's been a lot of people that's been in your corner from afar because they didn't want to cross that border, make it weird or anything like that. So tell me anything that you'd like to say to those Herd fans that have been in your corner that, you know, they're totally not mad you're leaving. They just wanted to see you in Kelly Green again. What do you got to say to those people, man?
To all the Herd fans, I just want to say thank you for always being there for me. Never really turning on me, never really speaking down on me, always stayed in my corner and always cheered me on and always kept me in good spirits. And always told me that my time was going to come. And I can finally say my time has came and I'm ready. And it's going to be spooky. It's going to be very spooky. I just got to get back and show everybody that I'm still me. And
yeah,
I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to take, like I tell anybody, don't take nothing for granted. Don't take nothing for granted. When y'all get an opportunity to do something, do it. Run with it. Take it. Don't ever let nobody tell you can't do nothing because you can't. It's a mind thing. It's really a mind thing. That's all it is. But to all my Herd fans, man, I love y'all. And I appreciate everything from all y'all.
One of the most beloved sons of Marshall to come through in the last decade, at least, Trace. I know you've been awful quiet this episode, and I feel kind of like a dick for hogging the conversation with Jaquan, but it's really hard when you get in the flow. It's really hard to get in there. But look, we're not going to get out of here without you having the opportunity to say something as well, because Jaquan, Trace is the guy that's generally at the stadium. He sees all the plays. He's following he's there, you know, and he's my Marshall expert on this podcast. Steven, of course, is our Western Kentucky guy, but you know, Trace is on record dozens, if not hundreds of times clamoring for Jaquan Yulee in some capacity, no matter what that is, playing time, big plays, accolades, whatever it is. So I got to give Trace an opportunity to speak and say some things to you, especially since, you know, he won't get to see you grace the Joan anymore, potentially. So, Trace, your time is now.
Yeah, I mean, it really awesome that we did this podcast. I think it was really great to hear from Jaquan. I mean, he just really hearing his side of the story, like you said, that was really important. Yeah. Because, like you said, I mean, there really hadn't been anything come out of this, the whole story in the last couple of years. Like you said, he kind of had to be quiet for a while, and like, you know, you want to hear, especially straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, you want to hear this stuff. You want to see how it played out and everything. And it was definitely not just me. Everybody, I feel like, wanted more of Yulee for the first, you know, couple years there. I mean, from 17 through 19, you know, before the injury, everybody was like, we want more. Like this, the special team stuff was great. I mean, it was awesome stuff, but at the end of the day, that wasn't enough. And like, I'm not gonna, you know, hold back. They really needed to play him more. And it would have been awesome to see. And yeah, they did have some really good linebackers in there during those years. But man, it would have been so cool to have seen all of those guys getting, you know, similar reps. I mean, it's hard to, you know, spread the wealth like that to a certain degree, but it would have been really awesome to see. Wish you nothing but the best, of course. I mean, all Herd fans do. Everybody wants to see you just succeed. And I have no doubt that's exactly what's going to happen. I really can't wait to see what happens, where you go, and like Katie said, keep tabs and stuff. Keep up with you. It's going to be really cool to see because I'm excited.
Yeah, a lot of times when you announce like, oh, I'm going to the transfer portal, you'll get this flood of messages like, hey, always a son of Marshall, always. Right. It kind of becomes a cliche thing, but they mean that. And we all know you're going to go find a new team and you'll be part of a new family and you'll build new relationships. And that will be the 1A most important thing in your life at the time. But you will always be welcomed in Huntington without a doubt. I mean, 10, 15 years from now, you come back to a game, I guarantee you there's going to be people that are like, dude, Jaquan Yulee's at the game. Yeah. Remember that guy? He was a freaking beast. And so you've niched, you talked about leaving a legacy. Call it what you want. You've niched a spot in Herd football lore. That won't go away. It won't. It's there to stay. Nobody has captivated the excitement of the crowd and been as good with the fans and as welcoming, and like it was so wild. Like every game day Saturday, I follow tons of Herd fans, obviously, and I would have my timeline filled with like pictures of you posing with their kids or whatever, and it's like that's it. That's the good shit right there. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Right. So you became not just to Marshall by accident or by happenstance or however you ended up there. It's kind of where you maybe were supposed to be for that time in your life, and now at this time in your life, you're supposed to be somewhere else, spreading that joy and that positivity and that charisma to another fan base. Special guy. Once in a blue moon type player on the field and off the field. Any team or program that's lucky enough to get you or have you be a part of their family, their fans are just going to be elated. And if they don't know, I know. If they don't know, they soon will know.
Yes, sir. Yes, they will.
So I got to say thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I did not, in my wildest dreams, expect to keep you a busy man, I'm sure, for an hour and 16 minutes. But it was very, very important to me that you got to speak until you got to say what you wanted to say. And if that was accomplished today, if you feel good about that, then I feel like every second we are on here was worth it.
Yeah.
So, I'm ready, man. I'm just ready to get the show on the road, man.
I bet you are.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. That's all I can say. I feel like my next move is gonna be my best move.
Yeah.
It's gonna be my best move. It's gonna open a lot of eyes, but it's gonna
It's never really an ending. It's always a new beginning. And that's the way that, I look at things like that in my life too. It's not just athletics. Every time I have to leave a job or move or live in a new city or whatever, it's never the end. It's always a new beginning. And that always helps to make the transition easier. And guys with a mindset like yourself understand where I'm coming from with that. It just helps everything go. And you're always supposed to be where you're at. That's the way I feel. Like I wouldn't be where I'm not supposed to be. Like somebody's put me here. The universe has put me where I'm supposed to be. And I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you think that way. Thank you so much for joining the show. You are welcome back anytime. Anytime. Yes, we would love to have you. I have no doubt in my mind that this will be our if not our most listened to, one of our top 2 most listened to and downloaded episodes ever. The folks just want to know of what Jaquan Yulee has to say, and they just like you. So keep tabs on the show, guys. We will be coming back in the coming weeks with our position group breakdowns. We're looking forward to the 2021 season. You heard Jaquan say it. This team is special. Marshall is special on offense and defense. They got a lot of talent.
Yes, sir. Go Herd.
Huff's Herd is in town. It's a new era. Trace, take us out.
Go Herd.
I got one thing to say. Hey, Coach Huff. Coach Huff, you got you a special team, man. Them boys special.
Yes, sir.
I promise you, them boys special. And one thing I can't forget, that's 75, man.
Oh, yeah.
Can't forget the 75. But other than that, like I said, Coach Huff, you got you a special team, man. I wish y'all boys the best.
Can't beat that. Go Herd. Go Tops. It's the Moonshine Throwdown podcast. We'll see you next week. Later.